Welcome to the KernoCast. I'm Lewis Pauling, and this conversation was recorded at the intoBodmin culture event, which was an open space meeting where members of the public came together to discuss lots of topics revolving around culture in Bodmin and how we can improve it. intoBodmin is a not-for-profit organisation that has been set up to try and support Bodmin culturally, to try and boost tourism, to try and boost heritage, music, all sorts of different arts projects. You can find them on Facebook, and they have a website which is intoBodmin.co.uk, and I'll post all the links in the description below. I recorded these discussions so that the wider community can get involved and leave their own comments and create more of a discussion around this rather than just the people that were there. So please leave some comments, email them or me, and enjoy this discussion. Cheers.
And I think in the past the council has been a little bit unwilling to support community events or felt unable to sort of stretch the finances, because it's a finite resource, the finances of the town council, unfortunately, and they felt unable to stretch it to support some of the community events. And one of the things we've done as new councillors coming in, Bodmin Lions run a Christmas dinner for the old folks. And they run it at the Shower House Suite, and there was always a charge because of requirements for security and fire safety and all the bits and pieces. And in the past the council had employed a security firm to do the unlocking and locking up and to act as the fire wardens. So this year the Lions said, is there any way you could help us out with the finances? So some of us town councillors said, well, we will do the locking up and unlocking and the security side of it and the fire warden if you can discount that from the price. So there was a little bit of reluctance to do that, but ultimately we persuaded the town clerk to provide the training, and a dozen of the councillors took turns at a roster, so we'd done a couple of hours each, and we stood in as the responsible person at the Shower House Suite for the Lions, and it meant that we could then discount their event by that cost. So the councillors gave their time free of charge to stand in as the responsible persons throughout the day. And that's the little things that we can do.
To do that for other events.
We can do that. It doesn't cost the council nothing. It costs us time, but that's what you give when you, because being a town councillor is a voluntary post. There's no pay and there's definitely no kudos with it, because it's you're on hiding to nothing really, but it's for the community. So that's a little bit we can give that costs nothing, that we can do to help it make it better. And if you demonstrate the right sort of things to do, then people join in, don't they? You haven't got to keep shouting and telling people. Sometimes you can do it and people will come along and do it as well.
No, and that is exactly why we're here, isn't it? It's making the difference. It's finding all the right like-minded people that go, you know what, I can help by doing this, you can help by doing that, and if we're all feeling we're all involved, it makes such a difference to the overall feeling of the town.
Yeah, it's trying to get people with different skill sets and different times to come together and try and work as a cohesive team, rather than sort of always relying on one person to go out there and make a difference. If you can try and bring people together and go, well, you can do that little bit and you can do that little bit, you become greater than
everybody gives a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you get the bigger picture, don't you, of what you can.
And one thing that was really fantastic is the Bodmin Town Council had their annual town meeting a few weeks ago, and there were 6 or 8 members of the public that turned up. It's open, all the council meetings are open to the public on every occasion, and the more residents of Bodmin that come along and tell your councillors what you want, the more the people of Bodmin will get what they want. Because I keep saying to all the councillors, at the end of the day, they're not delegates, they're representatives. They're there to represent the opinions of the people that voted for them to be on the council, and they have a duty to carry out the will of their electorate. So if the people come along and say, this is what we want, and it's within the power of Bodmin Town Council to do it, I feel they've got an obligation to do that. But you need to come along and tell them.
So Bodmin Town Council meetings
are open to the public. Every meeting is open to the public.
There's a 15-minute public speaking time before the meeting, which I find sometimes a bit frustrating, because once the meeting has started, you as the public cannot get engaged into any of that conversation.
Right.
So you get your bullet time at the beginning of the meeting, and the mayor sometimes throws that open to a longer period of time, given how many members of the public want to speak, and she does try her best
So
actually
basically
to accommodate everybody.
there's-
She's very
with the
good.
format and the agendas, there's a lot of tradition and a lot of protocols that have to be followed with it. But the agendas are published on the Bodmin Town Council website, so everybody can have a look. It will give you the time and the date, and on each agenda there will be a public open session at the beginning of the agenda, item 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it's normally a 15-minute block, but I always propose that we extend it. So I like to have afford the public, if people take the time and trouble to come and talk to us, I like for them to be heard, and I always ask for that to be the case. And the Mayor is very good. She will extend the period as much as she can to allow everybody to ask a question. So you can come along and you can comment on some of the things that's gone on previously with the council. You can ask a question of an individual councillor, you can ask a question of the whole council, you can propose suggestions of what you'd like done. Finn came along and said about the library and made a presentation. You can come and ask for them to support your community group. You can come along and ask them to, if they've got any funding for it. It's open, it's an open session, nothing's off the table.
Or you can email your question in beforehand,
If you want a definite response on the evening.
so they can
Okay. They've got time
respond to you. Otherwise, they will come back to
And
you
then
if
once
they
the
don't
public
know.
session's closed, you can stay and listen to the debates that go on amongst the councillors,
Yeah.
but you then can't take part in the debate because it's the
you're
debate
not
for the
an elected
councillors.
member.
But yeah, so there is that public session, and that applies to it. So the full town council, when all the decisions are ratified, you can come along and comment at the beginning of that, and all the committees, you can go along to any of the committees as well. So planning, at the moment, Bodmin Town councillors are fighting hard to rein in the overall development plans of Cornwall Council to build 3,100 homes in Bodmin. That won't be the start, the end of it, that's just the start. You'd be naive to think it's not going to stop there. So we're trying to protect the community, and people can come along and comment on that. So it's open to everybody to take part, and I think over the years that's where it's gone wrong. It's not, as you say, it's not been promoted enough, and people don't feel able to come.
It's communicating that, so people feel they can actually do something, whereas I think lots of people go, oh well, I'm not an elected councillor, or I don't feel I'd be up to the job, therefore I've not even put myself forward. Therefore, unless I've got something really, really important to say, they'll sort it all out.
There's a lot of communication on Facebook, isn't there? They use the Bodmin Voice page and everything to rant and to air their views, but that's the wrong place to do it,
But
because
that's not productive.
no,
No.
but the council don't take into account any of that anyway.
No.
So it's whatever's said on there is disregarded by the council. So if you really want to make your point and get your voice heard, then you need to either email in or attend the meetings, and then they take you seriously.
Why don't they take that into account?
Who?
The council, because
the-
even if it's posted in a public forum, I know that generally
Yeah.
people
Because
do just rant and
They do,
talk crap.
yeah.
Like they just
Unfortunately,
moan
with social media, people can hide behind
the keyboard.
Yes.
and
You have a
other
few
names.
keyboard
So
warriors
it's not
out there.
necessarily their name, or it's not. And the council have to make sure
Fake
that it's
accounts,
not.
all sorts of
it's
things, you
not-
know.
It's appropriate, so that it's not sexist or racist or prejudice in any way. So if people come along and speak in person or email in, you can verify that it's a bona fide comment
Right.
and
Yeah.
that it's made in the way that it should be. Whereas social media is a little bit of a free for all and unpoliced and unchallenged, and so that you have got electronic means to communicate because you can email in.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking to the community, and obviously they're
And
getting
Bodmin's
engaged
got a
in what's
Facebook
going on.
page. Bodmin Town Council got a Facebook page, and all the agendas for the meetings are on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't seem to sort of follow those pages, and they don't look.
No.
They don't go to the Bodmin Town Council website. It doesn't come to their mind
No.
to go and look at it because they just think, oh, if I need
So
to
we
find
need
That's why-
to
something, it's all on
turn that
Facebook.
perspective for them.
Jeremy's
don't
not on
we?
Facebook, and I am, but I try to share everything as far and wide as I can to make people aware that there is a Bodmin Town Council Facebook page and that there are meetings coming up. But of course, that just goes to my friends. I just feel that that's just my bit to
tell
try
you
and
in the
help
next-
As much
promote
you
as
can do.
much as I can. Yeah.
I mean, well, with what I'm doing, I had Lee Frost, who's a town and county councillor,
Yeah.
on my podcast, and I actually took questions. I posted on Bodmin Voice, and I said, "Oh, you know, if you could ask your councillor a question, what would it be?"
Yes, yeah.
And I did have to filter through some of those questions. Some were sort
Yeah.
of crazy, like,
Yeah.
or just like totally irrelevant. But you know, I could kind of take the gist of what the feeling was and try and ask those questions. So I tried to facilitate a way for the public to communicate with their councillor, and to get a response that people could then listen to when they wanted. I mean, I've always thought that maybe town councils and the public meetings should be recorded to be listened to.
Yeah.
But
You can do.
you can, yeah. I mean, that's what I've
You
been
could go
doing.
down
no-
there
there's
with
no
this and
restriction.
record the whole
A member of the
meeting.
public
Apart from the
A member of
obviously
the public is entitled to turn up at any town council meeting and record or video the meeting. You don't have to warn the council, and you don't have to tell them why. That's a right as a citizen of this country, that you can turn up at a town council meeting and record it. So
and
you've
it
got
has been done.
on the 4th of April, you've got a planning meeting which is open to the public. On the 5th of April, there's a properties meeting which is open to the public. On the 11th of April, there's a community network meeting, which is the link or the interface between Bodmin Town Council, all the parish councils and Cornwall Council, which is held up at Shydrevale, and that's at 6 o'clock in the evening, and that's open to the public. And there's another planning meeting on the 18th, what they call FSPM, which is staffing and finance meeting on the 19th. Promotions meeting on the 26th, the next full town council, and then there's mayor choosing on the 17th.
Although the mayor choosing has been done,
Well, it's
that
the
mayor
ceremony.
choosing is the
The
ceremony.
next full town council meeting is the 19th of July, and anybody's welcome to come along. The more the merrier.
Okay.
Get
Perhaps
engaged.
all the people who are here could receive so would you be up about going?
But the mayor's out there in the other room, so
Yeah, no, I did see that. No, this is exactly what this is about. It's making sure that everyone is aware.
yeah.
And well done, you.
And if we make